All right, peeps, how's it going? Let me share this on Twitter right quick, and we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about today. Let me go find the video. We're going to share it on Twitter. We are going to be good to go. Just copy link. No, I don't. I want to share it on Twitter. So how's everyone's day going? What's going on, man? What's going on? What is going on, guys? How's your guys' weekend going so far? Mine's been pretty chill. Did you guys catch the game last night? We've talked about the draft a little bit on Pistons Center Court. We had Bravo. Shout out to Bravo if he's watching later. We had him on the show. He knows everybody and their mothers in the NBA draft. So shout out to him. Speaking of shout outs, real quick before I read the rest of the chat that's going on right now, I want to give a shout out to 2K Plays. During Pistons Center Court, he sent the first super chat on this channel. So shout out to that guy. Hopefully more to come. But let's talk about today, then I'll let it share. Yeah, I was happy that the Raptors won. I'm rooting for the Raptors. But the problem with that, Pistons Center Court, I said Warriors in 6, and that's not going to happen. So my prediction for the finals was wrong. So Toronto looks motivated, bro. Kawhi is still questionable, though. I don't know if Kawhi is staying or not, but if KD comes back, anything can possibly happen. So I'm not ruling them out, but it's definitely not looking good for them at all. The thing with the Warriors, man, their legacies have all been built on 3-1. 3-1 this, 3-1 that. So they were down 3-1 to the Thunder a couple years ago before KD went there, and they came back and won. So I can't rule them out, but not looking good, especially going back to Toronto. The city is crazy in Toronto. Toronto probably has one of the biggest and most supportive fan bases in all of professional sports. So it's going to be loud. It is going to be – I don't know. Kawhi's a weird man. Why would he want to leave San Antonio? That's my question. I still don't understand why he left San Antonio. They had everything built around him. They won championship. They officially handed him the keys of the franchise once Tim Duncan retired. But I get it. I think he was I don't know how to describe it, but I think they were trying to rush him back. And I don't think he liked that. And I think once they stepped on his toes, I just think there was no coming back at that point. Players are very sensitive nowadays. So I don't know why he would even want to leave San Antonio. But since he did leave San Antonio, I'm not going to be surprised if he leaves Toronto. Although they did say he bought a house in Toronto. So, there's that going for him too. I wouldn't say that, man. If he stays in Toronto, I think Toronto has to be the favorite. They shut down Milwaukee. Absolutely shut them down. All they did was clog the paint, and Giannis couldn't do anything. The shooters couldn't hit shots. So, when you play defense like that, it's tough to lose. You don't make it easy for your opponent. So, I don't know. Well, the thing about Little, I've seen this. Can't remember which Instagram account it was. I wish I could shout them out. But from Clutch Point Sports, whatever you want to call it, Drummond said that they were looking for a long, lengthy wingman. And Little liked and put the eye emojis on it. So I think they've done more research into Little. Personally, if all those guys are available, I want Porter. I think Porter is the best fit for us. I like his build. I think he would be out of those guys the most impactful right off the bat. But you want him in order. You want him in order. So I'm going to go Porter. This is tough. Little, Keldon, Langford, and Naw. That was just off the hip. Don't quote me on that. But out of those guys, I want Porter the most, and I just think that's going to be the best fit for us. I think everyone and their mom wants Porter. Depending on where he goes, if the Pistons can move up and get somebody else, that's going to be fantastic. But if not, it is what it is. I don't think if if they don't move up or down, I think that they're going to stay at 15. I don't think they're going to trade the pick away for a player. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if that came out crystal clear or not, but if they're not moving up or down in the draft, I don't think they're going to be trading the pick away. What about you, man? How would you rank them? What's going on, Joey? Obviously, Anthony, the Pistons will always be looking for another star. I think as an NBA franchise, you want as many stars as you possibly can. Being at 15, though, there's not too many stars you're going to be able to get that you know of. That's going to impact your team right away and be a star right away. When you draft someone at 15, it might take a year. It might take 2. It might take 3 to fully develop them. The thing as Pistons fans we have to understand and appreciate and, just come accustomed to is being patient. We want everyone to be stars overnight. And that's really hurt us over the past. Look at Chris Middleton, Spencer Dinwiddie, list goes on and on and on. You just have to be patient and help develop those guys. With Dwayne Casey being here, that is huge because look at where Toronto's at right now. They're about to beat the Golden State Warriors in the finals in 5 games. That's crazy. And Dwayne Casey built that. And that's what we're trying to get to. So at the end of the day, Dwayne Casey may not be the guy to help bring another championship here, but he is going to be the guy who helps establish the building blocks. So I'm excited for this. I really am. I'm glad we got Dwayne Casey here. You're taking Langford over Little. Yeah, I'm not really crazy about anyone else besides Porter, to be honest with you guys. Yeah, the 15th pick in the draft, Joey. You think Bobo's going to fall that far? I don't know if Bobo's going to fall that far, though. Don't know if he's going to fall that far. If you can't even spell the name, Shane, I can't pronounce it, man. Can't pronounce it. I think drafting Bol with Thom to be interesting because that could be a very good bench unit between Bol and Thom because they are very similar. I see the comparisons, but they got different styles. So, it would be all right for the bench, but, our top primary holes on this team are point guard and small forward. Our perimeter defense is terrible. It's absolutely hot garbage. You got to fix that. You can't win games without defense, and you're putting all that pressure on Drummond and when Thon comes in there to rim protect, which, they have to. It's what we pay them to do, but you can't really just let them be on their own down there. You got to give them some help. That's why Drummond gets in foul trouble so much. What's going on, Luke G? Shout out to Luke G. All DSA members, links are in the description. Check them out. When's the roundtable? Tuesday? So you want to go back there and check those guys out. I say this, though. I see you guys are talking about big guys. NBA, you don't worry in the draft about need. You draft on potential and talent. You need to get the best player available. I don't care if it's a center. I don't care if it's a power forward. I don't care if it's a water boy. You draft the best player available in the NBA because you can always shape your team around that player. NFL is different. NFL, you draft through need. You've seen that with the Lions. They needed tight ends, linebackers. They got those guys in the first couple of rounds. NBA, you draft on sheer talent. You draft to get the best player available. You look at 03, the Pistons did that. They drafted Darko. Now, Darko at the time was a highly anticipated draft pick because of sheer potential, but he wasn't the best player. He could have got Chris Bosh. He was better. Dwayne Wade, obviously better. Melo was better. You could have drafted any of those guys, but they didn't want to draft those guys because we already had those positions filled. That cost us. That cost us a dynasty. How many know? I mean, Tayshaun Prince has gone on record saying that he thinks the Pistons could have won 3 to 4 championships if they would have drafted Melo. And that was the position that he played. So let that sink in. You can't go into the draft wanting to get a certain position. You got to get the best player available, man. You got to get the best player available. All right, let's see what I missed here a little bit. Yeah, Blake is going to be a huge building block for this team, obviously. Main problem with him is health, and you need to get some wing and some guard players to help take the pressure off of him so he's not working himself into the ground all the time. You got to keep him healthy. If you keep him healthy, you will win a few playoff games. What's going on, Lewis? I appreciate the compliment there, man. Yes, veteran wing is a very good way to go for the Pistons in free agency. There are some very good ones. If the Pistons can work their magic and create just a little bit of cap room, you can get some good wings out there. Next year's free agency is not going to be as good or deep as this one. So if you want to make a big splash, now's the time to do it. If you want to trade away some of your expiring contracts or what have you, this year's free agency is going to be way better than next year's free agency. I seen that we worked Darius out the other day, I think. I seen something about him in the Pistons. I wouldn't mind having him. But that's the thing, man. Everyone's got a different opinion. I seen McQuaid play a lot in March Madness. I liked what I seen from him. I did. I don't know if he's going to be on the Pistons' radar per se. I don't know, Joey. I do not know. Yeah, I mean lottery in the top 5. I mean, you pretty much know where those guys are going to go. But outside the top 3 this year, I don't know exactly who's going to be going where. So I'm interested to see how it's going to shape up outside the top 3. I really am. Don, you want to trade Andre, or are you making fun of them? I don't understand what you're saying there. All I know is you left the barbershop. What's going on, man? All right, Shane. I think you might be smoking a little bit too much there, man. Might want to chill there. Andre's weird because Andre's not a ball dominant player. He needs a pick and roll point guard, and I don't know if he's going to fit with Dwayne Casey because Dwayne Casey didn't really run a whole lot of pick and rolls for him. Drummond's the guy who needs to be catching lobs. It's what he does. You know, when he first came out there, he was dunking the ball. I mean, I just watched a clip from him in the summer league, and he was so much, I should say, thinner and looked a whole lot more engaged and stuff. He needs to get a couple like easy buckets down low. Look back to the 04 Pistons, not comparing this team to the 04 Pistons, but their first couple of offensive plays, Chauncey Billups would try to get some easy looks for Big Ben Wallace because he wasn't really an offensive juggernaut. That's what they need to do for Andre. You get Andre some quick buckets, his head's going to be in the game, and he's going to be a lot more engaged. If you don't, and you do the ISO Blake ball, you're going to get Drummond out of the game a whole lot sooner. So Drummond needs to get a couple easy looks to start the game out just to get engaged and stuff like that. Yeah, it's crazy how many people want to trade Drummond, man. Drummond's potential is the sky. I mean, the sky is the limit for him, man. I just, in good faith, I don't know how people can trade this guy. I don't. The talent's there, man. He just needs to flip that switch, and that could be any given moment. I mean, he could go somewhere else. I mean, he just needs the right fit, the right players, the right coach to unlock the potential. Because this guy, he could be one of the best centers to ever play the game if he would have just flipped that switch and continue. So, I mean, you can't trade people on potential. He's still young, man. Still young. I mean, I agree with you, Lewis. If something comes up where you can't refuse, then of course, as a front office, I mean, you want to look for the best trade available. So if that means trading Blake, if that means trading Drummond, if it makes your team better, at the end of the day, you do it. But I agree. Unless you're getting an all-star or equal value in return, I'm not doing it. I really like what the Clippers did, trading away Blake Griffin and CP3. The amount of talent they got back in return was crazy. Now, obviously, both of those players have higher trade value then than they do now. I don't know what the market for Drummond is. I don't. I don't. I really don't. But I mean, look what the Clippers got for CP3. They got 3 players and a draft pick. I mean, they got Beverly, Harold, and Lou Will. All 3 of those guys can ball. I would love to have all 3 of those guys on the Pistons. And then they got Tobias Harris, Boban, and Avery Bradley from Detroit. And a first-round draft pick from Detroit. Now, obviously, none of those guys are there anymore. But that was a pretty good switch. So I like what they did. So if you want to trade those players away, that's cool. You have to do something like that, though. You can't just trade them away for, I don't know, Clint Capella. Clint Capella is not going to change the Pistons. I've seen a lot of people discussing a center-for-center trade. That's not going to make the Pistons better. Not knocking Clint. He's a good guy. I like him. But look what he did. He disappeared, too, in the playoffs. So that's not the kind of trade you want to do for these guys. You either want to do 2 things if you want to trade those guys. You either want to go in full rebuild mode and blow it all up, which I know a lot of people want to do that. You got to get draft picks and young talent, prospects, and develop them. Or you got to get equal value in return. Those are the only 2 options. There's no in-between. You can't trade them for Capella, or I don't even know who the equivalent to Blake Griffin is, because Blake Griffin's a weird talent. There's nothing like Blake Griffin. But those are the only really 2 options, or you can keep them. And I think we're keeping them. Like I said, Tom Gores is not going to want to trade Blake Griffin or Andre Drummond. Those are his boys. You know, he's got to green light it. The only reason he got Blake Griffin here wasn't to make this team better. It was to put butts in the seats and sell tickets and jerseys and merchandise. And he's done all that. And by doing that, we gone to the playoffs. We made the 8 seed. Now, it's not really that high of a praise, but it's a start. And, you know, we've done good getting Dwayne Casey. I like the moves Stefanski's made in the front office so far. So I think we're heading in the right direction by accident. I don't think Tom Gores meant for any of this to happen. Either that or he's a drunk genius, because he gets lit. He gets lit. Yeah, I agree with you guys. If we trade him, we gotta get superstar. But I'm just telling you what I've heard through my comments and Twitter and social media and all that stuff is the amount of trades for those guys are ridiculous. You just got to help build around those guys, because right now, I mean, all the bad contracts that we gave out over there, we're still paying for Josh Smith's contract. No one remembers that. Remember, we're still paying for Josh Smith. That's crazy. Stan Van Gundy dug a 10-foot hole for this team, and we're trying to get out, but it's like muddy. You can't. Every time you try to get up, you make a good move, you sink lower. I mean, they're trying. You got to be patient. You can't turn this team overnight. We did so many bad moves. And, you know, when you do bad moves, bad business moves, it's tough to recover from. I mean, that's a lot of reasons why businesses go bankrupt or go out of business. They make a lot of decisions off of right now instead of looking into the future. I agree. Get rid of Lure. But you can't do moves for the now. You have to look at it for the future. It never works out. You know, it's like the analogy. If you're in a boat and there's a hole and you put duct tape over it, it's going to stop it for a while, but water's still coming up, and eventually that boat's going to sink. You have to do moves for the future, look ahead. While Stan Van Gundy was here, he did moves for the now and not the future. All those young players he talented are balling out right now. All the players he passed up on the draft are better than what we took. So I don't know, man. The past is a dark shade on this team. So you can only learn from it. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. And obviously they got rid of that. They got a new front office in here. I'm looking for them to shake it up and do something. Do something. We got a lot of expiring contracts there, Marvin. And I'm looking. I don't know if necessarily we're going to be moving those guys anytime soon, but I think around the trade deadline we are going to be a little bit more active this year, especially with people like Langston Galloway, Lure. If they're still here by then, by the trade deadline, I think they're gone. But here's the thing: expiring contracts are very, I don't know, sought after by NBA teams looking into next season. So, like right now, the Pelicans are looking to trade Anthony Davis. Unfortunately, they didn't want to, but he still wants out. So I think they're looking for expiring contracts, young pieces, first-round draft picks, all that stuff to rebuild, because rebuilding teams want salary cap, so that way when they get a good young talent, they can put some all-stars with them. So that kind of stuff goes a long way. But you don't want to underestimate the value of expiring contracts, especially if you're the Pistons. You don't want to trade for people like Mike Conley or Bradley Beal, because those contracts are going to hurt you. You might have a good big three, but you're not going to have any role players to go along with it. I think the best case for the Pistons is play the season out. Play the season out. Let those contracts go away. Get your money and go after it in free agency, and help rebuild with some younger guys. What's going on, Blitz? I don't think 2020 is going to be as big as it is this year. This year is going to be crazy. Now, I kind of involve trades with the free agency, because wherever Anthony Davis goes is going to affect where other people go. So it kind of is what it is. I think this year's going to be better. I'd love to have D Rose. I made top 6 point guards I want, and he definitely made the list. Don, though, I understand your frustration. Trust me, I was not happy with his performance in Game 3. I was there live. I was right there, pretty much front row, a couple rows back. He was not engaged. I understand. But he's still super young. Still super young. You got to be patient. Trust me, man. Trust me. Trust me, trust me, trust me. We are better having Drummond than not having Drummond. Trust me. And unless you want to go after a young prospect for a center, I don't think you want to trade him. I really don't. I really don't. Trust me. Trust me, trust me, trust me. I'm not knocking Bradley Beal. I love Beal. I love to have Beal. But I'm saying I don't think that he is going to be the guy to help the Detroit Pistons reach the next tier. Well, I guess the next tier would be, 6th seed? So he might be able to do that. But long haul, all the salary cap you're going to have is going to be crazy. Really, we need a point guard more than that. We got tweeners. They want to experiment with Luke Kennard and Shaviv playing point guard. I think Kyrie and Bruce Brown can play point guard, but all 4 of those guys can play shooting guard too. So I don't really know if we necessarily want another shooting guard. I'm not saying that we don't need one, but I kind of want to develop those young players and see what they really can do. Shaviv is going to be a great fit, because he can, if they want to play him at point guard, they can develop him to play point guard. He can play the 2 and the 3. So, I mean, when he can play 3 positions, that can help this team out more than you can possibly know. He's got a bigger-ish contract. It's not as big as the other guys, but I like Covington. I'm not sure if the T-Wolves want to trade him or not. The T-Wolves might be a team to blow it up. I think those are going to be an interesting team to watch, because I'm not bought in on Andrew Wiggins or Karl Anthony Towns at all. And I think they kind of blew their chance with Jimmy Butler going there. I think that might be the team to watch to blow it up this season. I think they will blow it up before the Detroit Pistons blow it up. Yeah, Rubio's on my radar as well. I can't believe that the Jazz don't want to bring him back, but they're playing Donovan Mitchell at point guard a lot. You really want a ball-dominant point guard. when you want to be your young talent to be the point guard. If Reggie Jackson wants to come back on a smaller contract, I'd take that. I'm all about giving good deals because I know what I'm going to get from Reggie. Reggie needs to stay healthy. And, you know, the thing about Reggie, I'm going to make a video about this next week probably. He's been working out already, playing pickup games and stuff. Last season, the last 2 seasons, he hasn't been able to do that. It was the same thing with Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin for years didn't get an offseason because he's always hurt. Last year, Blake Griffin got an offseason, and look how well he did to start out. He had one of his best seasons in his career. If Reggie Jackson does the same thing, that boosts his trade value on an expiring contract. I mean, there's so much stuff you can do. You can re-sign him, trade him. If he can ball, I mean, you're going to have a tough time doing this. Because look at what Reggie Jackson did to 2015, 2016 when we made the playoffs. I mean, when he did what he did, it was incredible. I mean, everyone was loving this dude. Everyone. He went crazy that last game to clinch us the spot. So, I mean, we know what he can do. We know when he's healthy what he can do. The problem is he's not a Dwayne Casey guy. Dwayne Casey doesn't use him the right way. He's a point guard. We played the Cavs. The Cavs won the championship that year. Give him some credit, bro. That team was young and stupid, and we had Stan Van Gundy as a coach. I'm not saying Reggie is enough. I'm saying if you get him back on a smaller deal when he's healthy, he is worth it. That's going to be a steal. Reggie went crazy that year. Trust me. The Terry Rozier thing is kind of similar to Reggie Jackson's when we got Reggie Jackson, though. Reggie Jackson wasn't proven. Terry Rozier is not proven. I'm not going to pay Terry a bunch of money for something that I don't know what he can do. Now, obviously, he balled when Kyrie went out the last year. He's on my radar. I want him, but I don't know how much I want to pay him because I really haven't seen him in a role where it's his team. And we kind of need that. Like, it's going to be Blake Griffin's team no matter what. But I just don't know. I'm on the fence about Terry, though. It's a cool nickname and all that. But I don't know. He's unproven. It's going to be the same thing as Reggie Jackson. You know, he might have a good year and we might fall in love with him. He might be injury prone. I don't know. He really hasn't got a whole lot of minutes since Kyrie's come back. But he's hungry. He wants to be the guy. And I like that. You know, that's always a good fit to be good, but I might come back and bite you in the butt. So you got to be careful about that one. You think Kyrie's going to be the next Joe D? That's a strong comparison. Very strong comparison. I like it, and hopefully that is cool. Hopefully that will work out. I think we got Blake for 3 more years. I think he signed a 5-year deal with the Clippers. Think. So I think we should be around 3, maybe 4 years. I think so. Yeah, that's the thing about Terry is he wants a lot of money. I don't know, man. I want Terry, but I'm cautious about it. Because right now the Pistons can't afford to make any more mistakes. If you make any more draft mistakes, free agency mistakes, you're done. You're going to have to blow it up. You got Blake Griffin for a short amount of time. He's not always healthy. Your point guard's not always healthy. Ish Smith got hurt last season. I don't know if we're bringing him back or not. But you got to win and kind of win now while looking at the future. You can't afford to mess up. I'd love to have D'Lo. I'd love to have him. That's a good question. And I think they really need to have a conversation with Drummond and kind of to see how his thoughts are feeling right now. I think he likes Dwayne Casey. You know, obviously Tom Gores loves him. They will probably give him a max contract or a super max. He'll get the super max as he's been there. But depending if he makes the all-star team, all defense, all NBA, that'll go up. But if not, I think you got to trade him. And that's something that we're going to have to look into as the season goes on. But, you know, he represents Detroit in all the rap songs that are so bad. I mean, they're bad, but it's what he loves doing. And he reps Detroit, but the Detroit fans get underneath his skin. He's a very sensitive guy. I don't know if he likes Detroit media. I don't know. There's spurts in his career where it looks like he loves the city and frustrated with it all at the same time. But I don't know. If he does not want to re-sign, then obviously you're better off getting something in return than absolutely nothing. But that's something we're going to have to look into right around the trade deadline and just see his body language and see how he's reacting to stuff. But I don't see why he wouldn't. I mean, he's going to get the most money here in Detroit since we drafted him. And I think that's going to be a big stepping stone in why he wants to come back here. Yes, our next point guard, our next starting point guard has to be proven. I don't care if we draft a point guard in the second round that needs time to develop, but if we want to win now and get a 4 seed to 6 seed, just so it's a little bit more respectable, you need a point guard that's going to be proven. And I don't even think you have to go out on a big deal with anybody. You don't have to get a super all-star. I just think someone like Ricky Rubio, someone of that style, I'm not saying that Ricky Rubio is going to be the answer, but someone of that style that is a pass-first point guard is going to help this team a lot more because he's going to give Luke Kennard more open looks. Luke Kennard will have free range to shoot, which I think that's what's holding him back. He just needs to have that confidence where if I shoot, it's going in. If I miss, next time it's going in. Blake Griffin is not going to be as ball dominant as he has been. And obviously, Drummond's going to get more dunks and layups. Again, I don't know if Ricky Rubio is going to be the fit for the Pistons. I'm just saying that style of play is really what the Pistons need. Plus, Ricky Rubio is a solid defender. He's a scrappy guy. Now, he's not a lockdown defender, but he gets like almost 2 steals a game. That is huge. And with this team that's got the mixture of athleticism that we do, we want to run the floor. And I think that's part of the reason that Glenn Robinson didn't really work out here. We didn't really run in transition as much as I would have liked. I mean, we did and we didn't at the same time. Like, it was all right. I think Drummond gets more in the game when they run in transition. He wants the fancy dunks. Glenn Robinson can throw it down. Blake Griffin, all those guys are super good at dunking. Well, Drummond blows a couple of them a year. He needs to work. I don't know what the deal with that is. Bruce Brown can dunk. We need to run in transition. I like the Rondo. If you can get Ricky Rubio and Rondo, and that could be your starting and backup point guards, because I think they can flip. I think either one of those guys can still start or come off the bench in today's league. That would be awesome. I would love to have that. Only problem is that, they're not particularly great three-point shooters. Ricky Rubio has come a long way in his three-point shooting. Rondo never really adjusted to it. I mean, he shoots one every once in a while, but it'll probably be about the same percentage as Ismith shooting threes. But Rubio's come a long way in his three-point shooting. So I'd love to have Rondo. Rondo is one of the highest guys on my radar. Yeah, our offense needs to be faster. I think we need to stop selling for so many three-pointers. We don't have that many great ones. We got guys who got potential to be great ones, but right now we're shooting threes with like 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Not good shots. With Blake and Drummond, give them the ball, let them go down low and get an easy bucket. We're not the Warriors. We're not Houston. We can't compete with those guys. Stop shooting so many threes. It's not our scheme. Real bad, Jalen. Real bad. Real bad. Whoops. Yeah, again, though, I think that's why Ricky Rubio would be so good here. Because if you get a guy who gets 2 steals a game, forces the turnovers, runs into transition, and gets the easy buckets, it's going to work. That's the name of the game, man. I want Kevin Porter if he's there. Dwayne Casey's going to make this team start playing some defense, man. Trust me on that one. Trust me. I want to say we will. I think we just need to go a different direction of style of play than Reggie. Reggie is pick and roll point guard, a scoring point guard. He's not a pass first guy. And I think with this team, we really need a pass first. So I mean, it depends on what you want to call better than Reggie. Reggie's just not the right fit for this team. Reggie fit better in 2015 when we ran the pick and roll and we had Tobias and Marcus Morris on the wings. and everyone excelled on that team. That's what our style was. And now that we got Dwayne Casey here and Blake Griffin, it's a different style, and he just doesn't fit with us. So I think we can get a guy who's more efficient. I don't know if you want to say necessarily better. I'd love to have Dennis, but I think OKC wants to keep him for depth because OKC is another one that I'm watching to blow up. If they get another first-round exit this year, man, that's going to be tough because I don't think Westbrook's the type of player to ever win an NBA championship. I really don't. I think there's going to be a lot more trade rumors around draft time for the Pistons this summer. Obviously, they got 2 guaranteed picks, one in the first, one in the second. I think they stay where they're at. They might move in the second round, but I'm not 100% sold that they're going to move out of the 15th pick and then make some minor additions in free agency. George Hill is an awesome guy. I wish we would have got him like 5 years ago. You're absolutely right. If you can't buy in on defense, I talked about this on Pistons Center Court, is the Pistons really need that guy, and it might be Patrick Beverley, to come in and with that defensive mindset. Because, you look at the Pistons teams over the years that won championships. It was Dennis Rodman. It was Big Ben. Those guys came out there and played hard on defense, and it was contagious. The rest of the guys bought in, and they played hard on defense. The Pistons need that guy that needs to set that mentality for them. So I'm curious to see if Dwayne Casey goes after someone like that. So keep your eyes open for that one. Again, I'd love to have D Rose. If the Pistons can't produce, Drew, then obviously you're right. But I'm going to give the Pistons until Blake's contract is up before they blow it all up. That would be an awesome point guard combo. Very good point guard combo. But the problem is we only got $10 million to spend. So I don't know if you'll be able to incorporate both of those guys for $10 million. But yeah, that would be a pretty sexy combo. If we get D Rose, we gotta have someone who can start though, as he doesn't have to play. Man, yeah, Derrick Rose played 62 games last season. That was the most he's played since he's tore his ACL. He's going to be the kind of the same thing as Blake Griffin. Like, you don't want the ball in his hands too much. You don't want him doing as much work because he is injury prone. But yeah, man, I'd love to have D Rose. I'd have to cop that Pistons jersey like right away. Blake, he's, I don't know. His defense is terrible. I agree with you, man. I think he's a different kind of defensive player. Like, I don't know if he necessarily doesn't try in defense, but he's like a linebacker if you want to compare him to, like, he's calling out what you need to do and not doing it. I don't know. He's kind of like putting the responsibilities on other people. It's weird. Yeah, the Pistons are in a very interesting predicament here. Like, I mean, you have to decide. Like, everyone has to be bought in, from Tom Gores to Ed Stefanski. Come on, Drew. Dwayne Casey, Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, all the way down to George Blaha. They all have to be on the same page in what they want to do. Whether if it's tank and trade all your assets and build towards the future, which I don't think we're going to be doing, or get some talent, get some help for your guys, some proven talent to help these guys. Either way they go, they can do well in. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time before they do something. LeBron defense. I like that comparison. That's a very good comparison. I'm gonna start using that one. That's an awesome comparison. That would be a very good game to go to. I think that game might be sold out pretty quick. That game might be sold out pretty quick, though. That Lakers game where LeBron was supposed to play in Detroit and didn't end up playing, That game sold out super fast. Like as soon as LeBron said that he was going to LA, that game sold out almost instantly here in Detroit. Almost instantly. So I think he might have that effect. Hopefully he plays that time, though. Hopefully he plays that time. Quick plug time, since we got Troxel here. What's going on, though, Troxel? We're going to have a live draft special on his channel. So be sure to click on him, go to his channel, and subscribe so you don't miss it. We are going to be doing a live draft reaction show. We're going to go a half hour live before the draft and talk about predictions, where we think people are going to go. So you're not going to want to miss that. We got Noble Sports Entertainment going on the show. It's going to be a fun show. So don't want to miss out. We're going first, second round, talking, breaking down pick after pick. It should be a fun time. So you want to go ahead and be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell on his channel, so that way when we do go live and watch the draft with you guys can have your fun and chip in and chime in, break down the picks with us, all that fun stuff. Also, Pistons Center Court will be on his channel this week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. sharp. So also go there, subscribe, and do what you got to do. Depending on health, I think, I gotta see where the free agents are gonna go. I want to see if everyone's going out west or coming east, or if they're gonna, roughly say where they're going to be. But Brooklyn obviously is a weird team. They're favorites to get Kyrie. Kyrie wants to go there. The Knicks are looking to get KD. So Kawhi might not stay in Toronto. Philly's got Tobias Harris, Jimmy Butler available for free agents or other teams to talk to during free agency. I really got to see where everyone else is going to go and who's coming in, who's staying, who's leaving, all that good stuff. But if it stays relatively the same, the Pistons, when healthy, on all cylinders, can be a fifth to a fourth seed at the top. Like if they have like a outstanding season where they overachieve, that can be where they're at. But I think 6 seeds a realistic expectation for this team next season. And that unless we get hurt or something like we have over the couple courses of the season, we might be 6 to 8 realistically. Unless we do something big and shake it up, that is what it is. But I think fourth would be hard, super hard to get, because the East has got so much better. But I think a fifth seed would be an overachievement for this team. The Lions have probably the most, actually, I don't know how to word this, the best chance to make the playoffs and have a good spot in the playoffs. I think that the Lions have a really good shot at winning the NFC North this season. I love all the movements they've done. You got to straighten out what's ever going on with Snacks and Slay. You have to have your 2 best defensive players ready to go, because right now that's shaking my confidence a little bit. I know Slay's going to be there week 1. I don't know about Snacks. I don't know. But those 2 are arguably the best players defensively on your team. They're your best leaders defensively. And when your leaders aren't there, it's going to be tough to win. But on all cylinders, if everyone's there, I think they can go 11-5, 10-6, and win the division. I think it's really between them and the Bears. I don't believe in the Vikings and Kirk Cousins. I mean, how are you going to let Kirk Cousins have a worse season than I just blocked his name out of my head. The guy that went to Denver, Case Keenum. How is he going to have a worse season than Case Keenum with 2 of the most dangerous receivers in the game? So I'm not buying into Minnesota. Green Bay, I don't think they did much to improve. I think it's between the Lions and the Bears again. So I like the Lions' future. I really do. Pistons could win a series very soon. Yeah, my brother is a huge Raptors fan, and he is ecstatic to be up 3-1. So I'm happy for the Raptors. It's kind of weird. When Golden State first came out, I was rooting for them against LeBron and stuff, because they built the team the right way through the draft and was really good. They went 73-9 and then got KD, and then I lost all respect for them. So I'm rooting for the Raptors. Hopefully the Raptors don't choke. and can pull it out. I just feel bad for Dwayne Casey because Dwayne Casey should still be there. They'd still be in the same spot with Dwayne Casey. So it's sad to see him get booted to the curb like that. But, the Raptors did what they thought was best for business. And you know what? It's worked out for them. So, they can't complain. They're in the finals. They're about to win their first ever NBA championship if they don't blow it. So congrats to the Raptors. Hopefully you guys can pull through. And like I said, don't let that lead slip away. The biggest problem, though, big take, is the drafting of the Pistons. That's why we can't get out of the first round. That's exactly why. It's not because we get good mix of young talent and prospects, but you can't keep blowing draft picks and passing on guys who are some of the best players in the league today. You can't and expect to win. It ain't happening. So it is what it is. Oh, you're going to make me pick between Bol and Kevin Porter if they're both available? That's a tough one, man. That is a tough one. That's a good question. I want to go Kevin Porter. That's my guy. That's the guy who I want the Pistons to take. But I don't have a problem if they take either one of those guys. So I'm taking Porter. But I like the question, though. Yeah, Mark Jackson should have stayed in Golden State too, but it is what it is. Well, he could be super think about this though. Look at I don't know where the picture's at, but there's a picture out there. I don't know if someone has put that together or if it's like an official thing. But all the players that the Pistons have passed on since the 2003 draft is crazy. I mean, they could have had a dynasty picking Melo or Wade or even Bosh. They could have won 3 or 4 championships during that span. Say there's a little fall off between them. If they draft the right way, get Kemba Walker, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, any of those guys, this team is the best team in the East. It's not even up for debate. All the guys that they passed on, man, that's what hurts the most is what if. What if this team would have? What if? That is what this franchise has become is what ifs. What ifs. And that's another good point there, Marvin, is when we do draft, we do give up on them too early. We don't develop them the right way. Look what we got for Henry Ellenson. I dropped that video today. If you have not seen that, go check that out. But we got nothing in return for Henry. Absolutely nothing. We wasted a draft pick on him. We did nothing. He barely played. He did more for the G League for us than he did with the Detroit Pistons. And then he goes to New York and has a couple 30-point games. You got to give your young players opportunity to thrive in this league. And the Pistons don't do that. And now Dwayne Casey obviously started a second-round draft pick in Bruce Brown for most of this season. So he gave him opportunities to thrive, and he learned very well. He's got a lot of potential, but he needs to improve his game a lot, trust me. Offensively, he is useless right now, but he's got the defensive mindset where he wants to play defense. Offense will come in time. Offense is easier to teach and to learn than playing defense. Defense is really a mindset, but you got to give your young talent players. I don't know why we didn't play Kyrie much this year. That was the only knock on Dwayne Casey for the most part throughout the season was not playing Kyrie. So I think Dwayne Casey is the right guy to do this, though, man. I really do. Yeah, I don't think we're trading our draft pick. If we do, we're going to be moving up or down, though. I don't think we're just going to straight up get rid of it. Yeah, I mean, not most of the blame does, though, because as vets, you obviously want to teach them how you're supposed to do or what you're supposed to do. But at the end of the day, it's not really their responsibility to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to. At the end of the day, it's the coaching staff, it's their trainers who are supposed to get them going. I mean, vets are the guys who talk to them in their ear in game, and yeah, exactly right. They're supposed to talk to them like that. Exactly. Hey, I appreciate that, Piston Superfan. Really do. Drummond's my guy. I think he's a top 5 center, maybe top 3. I think obviously Embiid and Jokic are better. Um, DeMarcus Cousins, when healthy, is better. But outside of that, I don't know how many are. It's between Gobert and him. I think those are the top 5 centers. I really do. So I love Drummond. He's missing that that special thing. It's like you can't describe it, but he's missing it, and he just needs someone to unlock that. I don't know what he's got to do. I don't know what the answer is, but this dude should be dunking on people and throwing shots out, which he averaged almost a steal and a half and a block a half a game. So it is something to really look into, though. I don't know what the answer to really unlocking that thing in him and making him better. Like, he's improved every season. He's added something different to his game, whether it's being able to pass out of the high post. That 1 year with Stan Van Gundy, he averaged like 3 or 4 assists a game. So he can pass the ball. He's gotten better at rim protecting and stealing. And, he improved his free throw shooting. So he's improved something every year. So I'm looking forward to what he's improving to. There might be another small signing. I think the Curse signing was kind of like the cherry on top. But I think that's going to depend on how long Snacks and Slay want to hold out. Slay said that, he's going to be there preseason week 1 no matter what. I haven't heard anything about Snacks yet. So unless Snacks wants to hold out for a long time or something like that, I think that the Lions are pretty set on offense. If they want to make some minor defensive depth moves, I'm sure those are going to be happening. But I think they made the last splash, unless probably the next time we're going to hear some rumors or see some signings is after the 53-man rosters are made and seeing who gets cut and who doesn't. So that's probably the next time we will make a move. Who it will be, though, I don't know. So, but yeah, there'll be some more smaller moves, more depth moves to come, I'm sure. I wouldn't be mad if Griffin does get traded. It's not going to happen because Tom Gores won't allow it. But I'm not just going to trade Griffin for nothing. You got to get equal value in return. And it's hard to do because when you trade a star player, it's so hard to get what you're missing in return. Like, Blake Griffin can literally do everything. He doesn't play defense, but he has the athletic ability to play defense. So when you have some guys like that, you either got to do 2 things, and that's trade for someone of equal value. Like San Antonio traded for DeMar DeRozan. Obviously not better than Kawhi Leonard. You can see that now. But, at the time, he was an all-star. So, you got to do stuff like that. But you either got to do that or trade for first-round draft picks. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't think that we will trade him because that is Tom Gores' dude, but you never know. If Bull is available, I wouldn't mind taking him. But, I think if Kevin Porter's there, we're taking him over Bull. But the Pistons got some tough choices to make. Really do. They got to get this draft right. And rather if it's Bull or Porter or some guy from Lithuania, you got to get it right. Got to get it right. Maybe the Pistons can do a trade and get 2 first-round picks and get both of them. I don't know. Well, it depends who we trading him to for 2 lottery picks. That's going to be a big factor if we do it. Because if we do trade Blake Griffin, I don't know if they want to keep him in the East or take him to the West. But, I heard rumors about Miami. That's all garbage and stuff. I just don't know. Like, the thing about it, though, is because Blake Griffin, wherever he goes, he's going to make that team better. He made us better, got us in playoff contention. So, if you trade him somewhere and they're going to be like the 8th, 7th seed, it's going to be a 15th, 16th pick. It won't be a lottery pick. So, I don't know. I just don't think they want to trade their best player. I really don't. It's very rare in Detroit sports to get superstars who want to be here, and that goes for all of them. I think the Tigers are the exception. The Tigers and the Wings are the exceptions. For the Lions and for the Pistons, it's hard to keep superstars here. Very rarely do we do it. That's why we overpay for guys who used to be superstars that are injury prone, because it's hard for those guys to stay. It's sad to see what happened with Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, because those are like at the two positions, they're up there. They might be the best, second best at their positions to ever play the game. The Pistons had Isaiah Thomas, who was a stud, and Grant Hill. Grant Hill could have been something special if he never got hurt. It's hard for the Pistons to get superstars like that. I like Keldon. I really do. I think there's a lot of good prospects for the Pistons to really consider at 15. But, outside the top three, I don't know who's going where, man. So, that's going to depend on who's going to be available for us at 15. Because every mock draft that I have looked at is not the same. Outside the top three is pretty much locked down, set in stone, going to happen from their point of view. Unless something crazy happens, unless someone trades up or trades down, which I don't see that happening. Outside the top three, no mock draft knows where anything's going to happen. So it's crazy, man. It's going to be I think there's going to be a few surprises in this draft. Usually you don't see that in the NBA. Usually the NBA, you're kind of like, oh, okay. Porzingis is probably the last one that I can remember. But I think there will be a couple times where you go, oh, during the draft this year. You think Porter's going to fall to the second? I don't know about that, man. I do not know about that. What's going on, Jay White? What's going on, man? Yeah, that's what I say, man. That's what I've been saying since halfway through the trade deadline last year. Is the draft, we got to take the best player available. Doesn't matter if it's a point guard, small forward, shooting guard, power forward, center. You take them. Yeah, I think Bol would be a good pick too. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if that would be a good one or a bad one, to be honest with you. Let me look up his stats real quick. If my phone wants to work. My phone's hot. That's a very good way of looking at it. So I think the top three is pretty much set in stone. What happens after that, I don't know. Okay, my phone's not working. One sec, I'm looking up his stats. So he averaged almost 20 points last game. That's a good sign. He shot almost 60% while doing that. That's a good sign. He shot 1-3 a game and made about 40% of them. That's not bad. Shot 75% from the free throw line. That's not bad. Averaged 6.5 rebounds a game. That's pretty good. 1.5 assists a game, a steal, a block, and 2 turnovers a game. So I don't know much about him. I'm going to be honest with you, man. But that's pretty good stats. I don't know much about him, but if he's there, if he's the best player available, then yeah, man, I draft him. Oh, thanks. I still need a few more of them. My wall's kind of empty. But yeah, I'm gonna work on that. I gotta find some stuff that I like. I've had that one of the half naked girls on there since I was like 5. So I've had some good memories with that one. So that one probably stays up here for a while. Yeah, I don't think Porter's going to fall the second round either, man. I mean, the potential's there for him. I think outside, the top 3 guys, I think for the Pistons, he will be the most impactful guy. He probably starts right away for the Pistons. I was going to make a video about them trading for DeRozan because I hear that the Spurs are looking to get rid of him. That's obviously a Dwayne Casey guy. I was going to do – I don't want to give away my video because, upload streaks got to continue. But man, oh man, that could be huge for this team. The problem with that, though, he's not a point guard. Not a point guard. He's a shooting guard. If we can develop some of the young guys that we got, like I said earlier, Luke Kennard, Shaviv, Bruce Brown, Kyrie to play point guard, get one of those guys to be point guard, I'd absolutely go for this, man. Absolutely. He loves Dwayne Casey. Dwayne Casey knows how to get the best out of him. The problem with DeRozan is he chokes in big games, whether it's playoffs or regular season. He does choke in big games. But if we get him, I think he could be enough in the regular season to get us into the 4th seed. Possibly the 3rd, depending where other people go. Because, under Dwayne Casey, he was a 20-something point per game scorer. He was a threat to get a triple-double or at least a double-double with assists any given minute. I think we could get the best out of him. So I think if we got him with what we got now and develop the talent that we got, I think we could be a 4th seed. But the problem with that is salary cap. I don't know if we have enough money to get him. Yeah, very good memories. We're not going to talk about those because we are monetized now, and I'm not trying to get unmonetized. So, I was actually thinking Boston might, because I believe Boston picks right before us. I think Boston has like the 14th pick or something like that, and I was thinking that they might get him. I think that whoever's on the Pistons radar, that Boston's going to take him, but that's how it goes. The people right before you take the guy that you want. So. I don't know. I think Boston's is in a rough position. I think if Kyrie leaves, Boston re-signs Terry. Maybe. If Terry wants to be there. Because I think he said he wanted Gordon Hayward and Kyrie gone. So they might be going after a point guard. So I don't know. Yeah, Boston's in a weird position too. Because they got Tatum, who might be most overrated player in the league right now. Jaylen Brown is all right. They got Marcus Smart, all right. But Morris, free agent, he's probably gone. Horford's free agent. He said he'd take a pay cut to come back. Aaron Baines is gone. So, half their team is available. How many people come back, I don't know. They might trade away that pick to get AD because they said that even if Kyrie leaves, that they still want AD. So probably that 14th pick will have to be what they have to give up to get AD. So the Pelicans might be able to have the 1st and 14th pick. And if you take Zion, number 1, you got Drew Holiday who can play the 2, the 1. I think if they go after someone who can play big, I think they might get Bull. If that happens, and if Pelicans do get the 14th pick, I think they get Bull. Yeah, you got to get scheme fits. Absolutely right. But at the same time, though, you want the best player available because you can change your fits. You got to play around what your players can do. It doesn't matter if you're a coach and your specialty is getting 3-point shooters and leading the league in 3-point shooting. If you don't have guys on your team that can't shoot threes, you're not going to do well in it. You got to do what your players can do. You can't go living outside of that or anything like that. So I don't know. I talked about that in a previous video I did probably 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I'm losing track of when all these videos are uploaded because I'm uploading every day now. But yeah, I talked about that. I'm not going to break the bank for Reggie because when he did go to LA, he did not perform the way he did here. And he probably wasn't getting the same looks. I didn't really watch a whole lot of Lakers games last season because they were garbage. But, you think playing with LeBron, he would have played a lot better. Although LeBron was hurt for a lot in the season last year. But if a reasonable contract occurs, he plays well here, he likes it here, I say yeah. But I'm not going to overpay him. I mean, he's okay. He's not going to make us better. He's not going to help improve what we're doing, but he's not going to make us worse. I'm kind of on the fence on that one. Like, if it happens, I'm cool with it. If it doesn't happen, I'm all right with it. So, I mean, he's not really high on my list, but if the guy that you're trying to get's not available, then do it. The problem with him, though, is they want to play him at small forward and probably play a smaller guy at shooting guard. It's not going to help a perimeter defense. Like, he's going to get bodied by small forwards, and, he's not strong enough to stop anybody. So offensively, he might hit three threes a game. He might average 9 to 10 points hitting threes, but defensively, he's going to give up more. So I don't know. There's really not, but that was just a rumor that Phoenix was looking for. And it is a leverage point because, you don't have to use the sixth pick. The sixth pick is going to have higher value in other teams' eyes than, the 15th pick. The only exception that I think the Pistons do that is if the guy that they really, 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 really want is going to be taken at 6, they think Phoenix is going to take him. That's the only reason you do the trade. But I don't think, outside the top 3, I don't think there's going to be a guy right away. Now, over time, it always happens. There's always going to be a guy that falls out of the lottery that does well. Always happens. But outside the top 3, I don't know if there's a guy single-handedly that's going to change the Pistons. So, I don't know. That was just the rumor that was being talked about. The teams haven't even talked about it. It was just me reporting the news to you guys and talking to you about it. Yeah. The thing about Reggie Bullock, though, is, he's a poor man's Wayne Ellington. I think Wayne Ellington's a way better three-point shooter, and at least, they both try on defense, but they're not great defenders. I'd rather have Wayne Ellington come back than Reggie. So that's, Reggie's not really on my radar. If it happens, it happens, but you can't, you got $10 million. Don't waste all $10 million on him. He's not worth it. The only reason we traded him is because we didn't want to pay him a lot of money. And I think by trading him, that hurt his value because he didn't do well for LA. He only did for here. So people are going to be looking at him like, oh, he only plays well for Dwayne Casey or Stan Van Gundy. He only plays well in Detroit. That might hurt his value a little bit. So I don't really care if we get him, if we don't get out. Shout out to Retro. What's going on, Retro? There's your shout out. You can hit that donation button on there and give me a super chat if you like. No rush, no problem if you don't. Just letting you know. I shout you out. You can give a little something my way, but whatever. Do you. Do you. I'm ready for football to start. I'm ready for the offseason to start because I think the Raptors pretty much lock this finals up if they don't blow it. This is the time. This time for about a month. Well, it's not about a month. It's a couple of weeks before the draft because what is it, June 20th? So, it's relatively quick after the finals. What's going on, King? What's going on, man? But the rumors for the Pistons are wild. The Lions can't start soon enough. I'm ready for some football, man. It's gone too long for me without football. I'm ready for it. Yeah, like I said, man, he's not really high on my radar to bring back. If it happens, it happens. If not, I don't really care. I liked Reggie when he was here, but if he doesn't come back, it's not going to hurt my feelings. If he comes back, I'm not going to overhype it up. It's going to be what it is. So, like I said, man, all the trade rumors are crazy. Half of them we got to throw out the window. I just bring to you guys what I think could actually happen, or probably the biggest one. I got one for you guys. I'm finishing editing up right now for Drew Holiday that was presented by PistonsPower.com. And, it's got a lot of heat on it right now. So we're going to talk about that, see how you guys feel about that tomorrow. But all the trade rumors right now are pretty much trading Reggie Jackson away. The ones for Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond, I just make fun of at this point and roast people for those ones because it's not going to happen. Tom Gores won't allow those guys to be traded, so you got to worry about it. Most of them are trading away the first-round pick, either moving up, moving down, or straight up getting rid of it. So I'm just bringing to you guys what is presented. I'm putting the ball in your court and seeing how you guys feel about the rumors, so I can kind of get a feeling of where you guys want to go for this team's future. Because everyone at the end of the day, wants the Pistons to win a championship. Does anyone in here not want the Pistons to win an NBA championship again? I didn't think so. We all want the Pistons to be great. We all just have our different ways of wanting to get there. So most of the trades are like trying to rebuild, kind of. Most of them are win now, but it's like 50-50. Like it's either blowing it up or trying to get someone that's overpaid and hurt. So a lot of them are hogwash, but it helps me out because I want to give you guys daily content, whether it's Lions, Pistons, Wings, or Tigers. I'm trying to upload. We've done it for about a month, maybe a month and a half now, and they help me upload for you guys. So I appreciate those guys who come up with those crazy rumors. I think we're more likely to move down than we are up, to be honest with you, Kyrie. Next season is going to be, I don't know, a little bit more optimistic season for the Pistons, seeing how they're going to have more money. You have an extra year to develop the guys you have now, and depending who we tack on to our team this season to develop, if we get another guy for an expiring deal, we don't sign someone to a multi-year deal this year because I think they said we got $10 million, so they said we could offer like a 4-year, $40 million deal. If we don't do that, if we just add on someone for another year, you can get even more money back. Or if you don't spend any of the $10 million and you a couple of veterans and you stay at the 8th, 7th seed, next season is really going to kick into fruition here, and you'll be able to take off, add some young pieces, roughly have the 15th to the 17th pick again next season, and a lot more cap space, so you'll be able to add some more people in. So next season should be more optimistic. A lot more of those trade rumors could be a lot more, I don't know, have more truth, or I don't know what the right word is, but they could be a little bit more realistic to happen. Right now, the Pistons probably can't make a big deal move like would have been reported, so it is what it is. Yeah, you got $40 million coming off the books, so you should roughly have $50 to $60 million to spend next season. I don't think we should resign any of those guys unless it's just a steal. But I don't see that happening. Very rarely in the NBA do players take pay cuts anymore. Tim Duncan did it, but you don't see anyone in the NBA taking pay cuts to help a team out. Which, if those guys would take pay cuts, it wouldn't be a problem. But that's Stan Van Gundy for you, man. Stan gave all those guys bad contracts. I mean, John Lure I think I could play more efficient for the Pistons. I could give the Pistons better minutes than he can because they don't give him any. And you're paying him, what, $10 million almost? It's garbage. Yeah, just let the contracts expire. I agree with you, man. You're better starting off that way, keeping Blake and Dre and building around those guys with the cap money that you get. I 100% agree with you, Kyrie. 100%. But with the Pistons front office, man, the mistakes that they have done over the years, I think they're headed in the right direction with Ed Stefanski and Dwayne Casey help running it. But, history tells us otherwise, man. History does repeat itself. Some of the mistakes the Pistons have done, I laugh at it every morning when I wake up that we're still paying Josh Smith. That puts a smile on my face while I'm drinking my coffee. Yep. They're cap geniuses. And, the guy that we lost, the analytics guy, helped us, I don't know how many of you guys are like that in depth with the news and stuff because it was kind of a below the radar move. But the additions of adding Thon Maker and Shaviv helped the Pistons remain below the salary tax. So those two trades that we did weren't fancy, weren't flashy. I think Thon for Stanley Johnson was a great move. They weren't really like news-breaking moves, but they helped the Pistons stay below the salary tax. So they're not going to – their goal is not to get to the salary tax because Tom Gores does not want to pay that. So he's not going to allow them to get there. They're going to save up their money, and they're going to be very careful with who they give money to. Which one? Which dog do you want? I got the little one up here, and the big one's down there by the door, by the vent, because she likes the cold air. But no, you can't. Thon's working out right now. He's in the gym every day. Bruce Brown's in the gym every day, and Andre's been in the gym every day. I'm not sure who else has been, but those guys have been posting on Instagram of them working out. So I think all three of them working out is huge for this team. Obviously, Bruce Brown and Thon Maker still have a lot to prove, but anytime Thon Maker gets compared to being an MVP, which when he first came into the league, they were several people who said he had a future MVP in his career. I don't think he's ever going to get to that level, especially playing here, coming in and off the bench, but not starting. But anytime you get those comparisons to being a future MVP, you have to be pretty damn good. So I don't think he's ever going to reach that ceiling, but I'm never going to say never at this point. But, he's working out every day. He needs to add some muscle. He needs to attack the basket. How many times did he shoot threes and miss them in that Milwaukee series? He needs to have a post game or just attack the basket or something. I don't have a problem with 7-footers shooting threes, but when you're 7 foot tall and all you can do is shoot threes, that's a problem. It is a problem. That's the problem with the NBA. And I watched a video on it. Why it changed is they made zone defense legal to use. Back in the day, they used to call it legal defense. You can't hand check anymore. So, that's easier for shooters to bring the ball up and shoot. So a lot of that changed the NBA. That's why there's so many 3-point shots going on right now. But regardless, 7 foot tall, dunk the ball, post up, shoot some post hooks. Dirk Nowitzki, probably the best 7 foot tall shooter of all time, didn't just pull threes. So, yes, sir, you're absolutely right. All summer long, they need to be getting up like 1,000 shots a day. Dre needs to get that post move. He needs to get that move that he's confident in, like that jump hook that he's got going on. It's not pretty, but he needs to get some confidence in it. It's just something where he gets into a routine and he knows it's going to go in. So that way, when he misses a putback dunk or something, that he can go back to that move and know it's going to go in. He needs something like that. He needs to get some footwork done. If he continues working out with Kevin Garnett, he can help him out with that. But he needs to study like the best big men to play the game, like a collection of them. Like watch Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Hakeem, Kareem. Watch their footwork and how they work in the post, and implement that into your game. So you can even watch people like AD and DeMarcus Cousins, some of the more modern bigs that can shoot and do a little bit of everything. Watch what they're doing and put your twist on it. He needs to get something done. The reps were bad, but Milwaukee's better than us. Milwaukee had a great year. The Pistons weren't getting very many calls at all, but, they had a tough time stopping Milwaukee and a tough time scoring on Milwaukee. But, I'm not going to blame that one all on the refs. Obviously, they do play a part in it. But, Blake being hurt, it threw everything off. We had to adjust playing without Blake Griffin, and I think Game 2, we played very well without Blake Griffin, but Milwaukee pulled away. And then Game 3, you go from playing without Blake Griffin to having Blake Griffin and trying to go back to what you were doing while making adjustments not to play with them. So all that plays a factor into it, but I'm not blaming the refs for that. Milwaukee's just a better team than what we were. Yeah, Thon needs to work out, get stronger, and he will get better. Thon can do so much more. Luke Kennard probably should start next season. I wish we would have started him over Bruce Brown every game. I think that was kind of a slap in the face to Luke, how you let a rookie in the second round start over him. But, it worked out for a minute because, he would come in off the bench and catch fire and couldn't miss. Then we started him, and it faded away after a while. So, Luke Kennard just needs confidence to shoot. And I think that's why he's scared to shoot. Like, he doesn't want to step on anyone's toes. He just needs to go out there and say, F it. And, if it's not going to go in, next one's going in. So he just needs that confidence. But I want to see Luke start. We need him for floor spacing. I think right now, without any free agency, without any draft, we should start with what we have now. Not saying that it's going to be fantastic or the best roster in the league, but Reggie Jackson at the 1, Luke at the 2, Shaviv at the 3, and Blake and Dre down low. I think that gives you the best floor spacing out there and, best offensively. Now, defensively, it's going to hurt. And that's why you have Bruce Brown and Kyrie coming off the bench because both those guys can play defense on the perimeter. I like the future of that backcourt right there. That might be our future backcourt. But right now, I think that should be our backcourt coming in off the bench. And, you really go from having the guys that shoot the threes to in your face playing defense. So I like that style. Yeah, Seth Curry's on the radar for the Pistons for sure. I don't know Glenn Robinson's contract situation. I know he has a player option. It might be a team option, but I don't really think that move, if we do let him go, is going to hurt or help us. I'd rather have him sitting on the bench than Zaza, because at least with Glenn Robinson, he was hot booty last season. I'm not going to argue there, but at least with him, he does have spurts of playing defense and doing a dunk. So, I mean, if you pay him $1 million, I'm okay having him sit on the bench. But it's guys like Zaza and John Lure that sit on the bench that really bugs me. Because those guys can't play. Glenn Robinson did not have a great year at all. I'm not sure what the team option is worth, but if it's low, I opt into it because I'd rather have him on the bench not playing for $1 million than having a guy like John Lure, who is garbage, on the bench for $10 million. That's my only viewpoint on it. He doesn't have to play. I was very disappointed in him. I thought he was going to have a good year in Detroit, and I will admit that I was dead wrong on that one. Yeah, if it's $6 million, I'm not doing it. That's crazy. He's not worth that. If it's $1 million, if he wants to come back for $1 million, then you do it. But I'm not paying him more than $1.5 million. Yeah, it's kind of is you're right, Alan. It is kind of like a 1-year rebuilding thing for this team. It's not really like a rebuild. It's just more like patiently waiting, because you're just gotta wait for that money to come in off the books. And once that money comes off the books, this team can really flourish. So, excuse me. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit, John. It's kind of I'd love to have DeRozan. The problem with DeRozan is he chokes a lot. And I don't really necessarily think a shooting guard is going to be the answer. He can play small forward, but he's not really a true small forward. He's really a shooting guard. Now, he can bring the ball up, but you're missing point guard. Every team that the Pistons have been really good at and won championships, their best player arguably has been point guard. Or I shouldn't say the best player, because I think the most talented player on the Pistons were one of the Wallace boys. Rasheed was a proven all-star in Portland. Big Ben was a dog, but Chauncey Billups was the heart and soul of that team. Isaiah Thomas, best player on the Bad Boys. They really need to get that point guard right. I don't think that the Pistons are going to be going anywhere anytime soon without that style of point guard, that leader, the guy who can change the tempo, to change the pace of the game, to change the mindset in the game. They really need that leader. Maybe DeRozan can bring that to us. I don't know. I don't have a problem bringing him in here. I just don't see how we have enough money for him, because Toronto did pay him before they traded him. So I don't know, man. I know he loves Dwayne Casey. Dwayne Casey loves him. So I mean, you got to get the players that your coach knows how to get the best out of. Yeah, that's the problem with him. And he's not. He's a choker. I mean, there's a reason they call Toronto LeBron and all that stuff, because they had all the talent. I mean, they traded DeMar DeRozan away for Kawhi Leonard, and look how well they're doing. I don't think DeRozan's going to help the Pistons win. Oh yeah, I'm not accepting that option then. Only if it was like $1 million, $1.5 million do I accept that. He's not going to get paid almost $5 million to sit on the bench. I'm not doing that. Well, okay, let me ask you this, Richard. If we do that, and we do get 2 first-round draft picks for our 15th and Reggie, who are we drafting at those spots? Because, I mean, you kind of got to see how the draft board is going to fall, because outside the top 3, we don't know pretty much. Like, we all know that there's good players and good effective players, but where are they going to go? Who are the guys that the Pistons want? Like, Reggie's not he's not great, but he's not as bad as everyone says. He does some dumb stuff. Okay, he's not the answer for the Pistons. I love Reggie. I'm thankful for what he did for us in 2015, but he's not the right fit for us. So I don't have a problem getting rid of him, but you kind of need someone now. I get everyone wanting to trade him. I do. I'm more like Joey says here. Dwayne Casey's a great guy to find young and create young players. I'm all right with trading them for 2 first-round picks, but I want to see what Dwayne Casey can do with our young guys now and be more effective that way. I don't really just want to get rid of a expiring deal for just a first-round draft pick though. Reggie averaged like 18. I think it was like 18.7, somewhere around that ballpark in the series against the Bucks. So I mean, he looks healthy, and if he's healthy, he can be very deadly. I mean, he was Mr. Fourth Quarter that first 2 years he was here. So I need that Reggie Jackson back if he wants to stay here. Oh man, that contract is pretty bad, and for a guy that chokes a lot, I ain't doing that. He chokes more than a porn star. Terrence Ross is on my radar. Terrence Ross is most definitely on my radar. Obviously, he balled out in Orlando. A big part for why Orlando made the playoffs. That dude had a very good season, and he is a Dwayne Casey guy. Dwayne Casey got him that big deal for Orlando. He played very well for him. I love to have Terrence Ross here. Absolutely would. Kent Bazemore is all right. I don't know if I necessarily. I don't know what's Bazemore's contract. I think Atlanta paid him. I think they paid him pretty well. Yeah, I think Reggie Jackson's value is going to be higher at the trade deadline, especially if he's healthy. If he's healthy and has a great season, his value at the trade deadline is going to be super high because you get someone that's like on the edge of making the playoffs and he's balling. You get an expiring contract to help that team get into the playoffs. I think someone's going to give up a little bit to get him. You like that one? That was a good one. Yeah, developing our young guys is what the Pistons have needed to be done for years. We never have. We got the right coach. Again, I don't know how drunk Tom Gores is, if he's making great moves by accident or if he's sobering up and thinking about his team. But Dwayne Casey is the right guy to develop our talent. Right guy for it. Look what he's done in Toronto. He's going to make that switch happen here and make all these guys become good. You're going to be looking at it and be like, dude, how's this dude an all-star? He was taken in the second round, and that's going to be the Dwayne Casey effect for you. We talked about those two guys a lot on Pistons Center Court. I know 313 JMO is really high on Carson Edwards. That is his guy. He says if we move up in the draft, we take him. If we move down, we take him. He's pretty much set in stone on that one. So he said he's living up to that one. So be sure to check out 313 JMO. His link's in the description with all DSA members. Check all those fellers out. But that's his guy, man. Or was that Troxel that was on him? One of those guys, it was either Troxel or 313 JMO that was high on the other one. One was high on Cam Johnson, and the other one was high on Carson Edwards. I don't remember which one was which, but Troxel was high on one of them, and 313 JMO was high on the other one. I can't remember which one was which. I wish they were in the chat so they could clear that up for me. So Bazemore is an expiring deal though, but that's kind of a high 1-year deal. Aaron Gordon reminds me of a young Blake Griffin. I think he's an injury away from being really, really, really bad. I like everything Ed has done for this team so far. Can't complain. Being as limited as the Pistons are, have made some pretty solid moves. So I like everything that the front office has done. I appreciate you, Evil Kyrie, for paying attention. I'm glad someone pays attention to what we say, because I sure didn't. Glad Alan paid attention too. I like how you guys pay attention and remember stuff because I didn't. I think I was taking a leak while they were talking or something. Yeah, that's a good point, John. It's a very good point because Denver might not be the most talented. Jokic is very talented, can do everything as a big man, but they drafted young talent that was smart and knew how to play the right way. I think Denver is a piece away from being one of the best teams in the West. They're obviously missing something because even though they made it to the semifinals, they struggled against San Antonio and Portland. So they got to do something. Denver is just missing one piece, and I think Denver could do very, very well because we bought them out. Whatever we bought him out for, they broke it up over several years. We still have to pay him his contract because most of the NBA contracts are guaranteed. So we signed him to a big deal. Like that was supposed to be the guy who was supposed to save the Pistons. Like he was supposed to be our Blake Griffin, what Blake Griffin is now. Like he was supposed to be that guy, and it never paid out. So we bought him out after a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. So we're still paying his contract for him. We just wanted him off the team. So he took a small sum to leave. I think he was getting paid 15 to 20 million for us when we bought him out, and then he went to Houston and got like the league minimum. So he was making what he was making off his contract, but playing for Houston in the playoffs. Who do I want the Pistons to draft? It just depends on who's available there, Richard. Like I said, like I keep saying, man, outside the top three, I don't know who's going to go where, but I like Kevin Porter. I think Kevin Porter is going to be a good fit for the Pistons. I do. Oh. All right, Alan. Who would Denver give up for Blake? I got to see the trade before I can consider it because Blake Griffin and Jokic would be pretty good together, but they're kind of like the same style. Like they're both point. Like Jokic is a point center, I guess. I don't know if that term's ever been used before, and Blake's a point forward. It'd be kind of interesting to see how that would work out. That'd be interesting to watch. Very interesting to watch. If Blake is healthy, you gotta give him talent around him. Him and Andre need help because they're not LeBron James or Kevin Durant. They're not good enough to win by themselves. Like they won't ever be in the comparison of being the greatest players alive. So they need help. You don't have any decent role players for them to work with. Your young talent's still super young. You got to develop them better. But a healthy Blake Griffin that we've seen this season that can do everything, where he doesn't rely on his athleticism, where he can shoot the ball, dribble it, attack the rim, pass it, then yes, we can. But the problem with Blake Griffin is really his defense and his health because he's not a lockdown defender. He's not that spark plug defensively. Detroit sports has a history, especially basketball, of being strong defensive teams. The Detroit Pistons over the years have been some of the best defensive teams to ever play basketball. That's really the mindset and mentality you need to have. And Blake Griffin doesn't bring that. It's a different style, but yeah, I think in the long haul, if healthy, and now it might be after he's out of his prime where he doesn't get as much money, he's not as good. But I mean, Blake Griffin has enough talent where he can win a championship. It might not be here, but Blake Griffin can definitely win an NBA title before it's all said and dead. This season, his contract stops. I assume you're talking about Josh Smith. You think Denver's going to trade up Porter Jr.? I heard Porter Jr. is healthy, and if he's healthy, that might be the steal of the draft. If Porter's healthy, that dude will be scary good. But health is going to be like the big thing around his career. I know a lot of us wanted to take him in the draft, and we didn't. Allen, I would do that trade, Allen. What I miss? Oh, you're talking about that one. Yeah. Millsap's older though. I like Harris Porter. Injury's a big part of his, but big part of what is going to be about his career. Point guard and small forward's desperately what we need. I don't know about the championship about that, but we'll see. I agree with you there, man. A miracle. Better say your prayers and eat your vitamins. I wouldn't mind getting Porter. I just with someone that's got that much potential. I just want to see how you can trade him like that. But it's kind of a gamble because someone like that who already has injuries throughout their career, that could play like he could be the next Greg Oden, all hype, all injuries. So I get it. Yeah, you remember what they said? They said Portland should have blew it up and tanked and traded away those guys and start over. And they went to the Western Conference Finals. Tanking doesn't help you. I mean, Philadelphia tanked, and they're not better than Milwaukee or Toronto. And they had a much more talented team, much more talented. Yeah, but look at the lottery this year. They changed the rules. So what? The top 3 teams had a 14% chance equally. Like the first team, the last few years had a 25% chance of getting the first overall pick. So they were almost guaranteed to get it. There was a couple of years where like Cleveland had like a 7% chance and got it. It was rigged. But they changed it up so anything can happen now. So I mean, tanking is not going to help you get the first overall pick anymore. Like that eliminated tanking. No one's going to tank anymore because New York got ripped out of it. I mean, they just got their plans crapped all over. So tanking is pretty much all but over with this new system, and I like it. I don't like tanking. So you just want Millsap for the salary cap relief. All right. Yeah, I think the Thunder should too. And it's a shame because Paul George played really well for them. He did get hurt, but Westbrook is not the guy to win a title. He's not. He's never going to be good enough to win a title. That's why KD left. He's just not the right guy to win a title. It's not. I don't believe in him. He stat pads. He puts up these great numbers, but at the end of the day, it never results to winning. Like they were like the 3rd seed with about a month to go in the NBA Finals, and finished as the 6th because they had to play Portland, right? And Portland was the 3rd seed. I think so. But yeah, they fell, man. They were like the 3rd seed and fell all the way down to the 6th. I agree with you there, Kyrie. I think they should blow it up. Golden State's a weird team, though, man. Because here's the thing about it. Golden State's not going to have enough money to re-sign KD. KD's pretty much gone. I think Stephen A. said that sources close to him that he talks to KD or whatever said he's pretty much all in on New York. That he's going there already. So that means they should bring back Klay Thompson. Even if Klay Thompson leaves, I think Golden State would have enough money to bring someone other shooter in there and really compete. I mean, Golden State's still going to be good. They're not just going to fall off. They're not going to be as good as they were. But, maybe they bring back DeMarcus Cousins and have Steph Curry and DeMarcus Cousins and Draymond Green. So, I mean, Golden State's still going to be good. Still going to be good. Blake just turned 30 this year, I do believe. The thing about the Pistons, though, is they have the best training staff. They do the best of their ability to make sure no one gets hurt, but you can't really prevent injuries. And I get it, man. That's the problem with Blake Griffin. I didn't think the knee was as bad as it was. He did have to have surgery. I'm not even sure what they said he had surgery on. They just said his knee. So he's going to miss his offseason workouts. He will be back in time for the Pistons training camp. They said that he should be on pace. So we'll look into that. But, yeah, I get it, man. When your best player is injury prone, it puts a damper on things. It's hard to win games, But I think he likes it here in Detroit. I don't – like in L.A., there were times where, like, they fell down early in the series, and I felt like he quit on them. I think he actually likes it here in Detroit, though. Like, I think he wants to win here. I think getting traded woke him up. And when the team that drafts you, and the team that drafts you offers you a max deal, pretty much tells you that they're going to retire your jersey and all that stuff. When they trade you a few months later after getting that, I think he wants to win. Now, if he stays healthy, I don't know, man. That's the question. TJ's awesome. His nickname, him and Jesse James, because they call Jesse James the Outlaw for the famous Jesse James. I call them the New Age Outlaw, so that's my dude. I'm hoping for a big year for him, so that way that nickname could stick. Silver State. I like the pun. I think you were sitting on that one a little bit too long and waiting for the right moment to use that. I like the comedy there, but I don't. They might be less golden. I don't know if they'll fall all the way down to silver. It depends on what Houston and Denver does, because Houston is in the process of potentially blowing it up. It's really following what they do. I mean, if Golden State loses everybody, then it's possible. It's just depending on what the rest, like you said, what the rest of the competition is going to do next year. And most of it's just giving out bad contracts. I don't think we'd be in the same predicament if Stan Van Gundy didn't give everyone $10 million. And, he signed everyone to like 3 to 4 year deals and never did anything. I'm glad we got rid of Stan Van Gundy. Phoenix might do some dumb stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if Phoenix does something stupid. Stan really did screw us, man. It's a good thing he looks like Ron Jeremy, because he definitely screwed us. Definitely screwed us hard. Definitely. What time is it, guys? All right, that's pretty much going to do it. I got to go and get my touch-up done on my tattoo. I got some light spots. I got to go get those touched up. I got an appointment at 3:30. It's 3 o'clock, so I got to get ready to go. So I appreciate all you guys coming out and hanging out with me for a little while. Hopefully we can do some more live streams. I enjoy talking to you guys and getting your viewpoints. But in the description, Instagram, Twitter links are in there. Be sure to check those out. Excuse me. Like all I said, all DSA members are in there. We have a new member, Detroit Pride, so he is in there. Be sure to check all those guys out. This Wednesday on Troxel Sports Talk, we got Fisher Center Court. This will be the last one. What's the date today? The 8th. I think that will be the last Center Court until the draft special. So you want to check out that draft special. That draft special is going to be a lot of fun. You guys can talk in there. I don't know how Troxel's going to want to do it. Troxel, it's going to be on his show. So he's going to set all the ground rules for you guys, and he's going to explain everything, how it's going to work. So with that being said, that's all I got for you guys. Anything else I got? I was thinking. I felt like there was something else I was going to talk about. I have a Lions hype video coming out. That should be uploaded next week. Just getting ready for the season. I think I pretty much have the video edited the way I want to. I'm just having a tough time finding the song I want to use. But no, I don't think we should bring back Ish. But that's all I got for you guys. So you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Upload streak will continue tomorrow. We got that Drew Holiday trade coming out, so be sure to come back and give your viewpoints on that. But I'll see you peeps in the next one. Peace.